5 years from now, I hope to be the man in the city. I hope like everybody comes to a club and they look at the lineup and say, oh snap, Jordan's gonna be here tonight. I don't want to be a famous comedian, I just want to be a good one.
Yeah. We gonna start this one like this. Driving down the road with a couple more miles to go. I'm so close, but they don't know. Got some freaky hoes and weed to blow. Rock the cleanest clothes. Don't you feel good? Don't you feel great? I feel so fly and I hope you can relate. Got some brand new shoes and a brand new tee. It's the same old dude, but a brand new me. I've been up and I've been down. Thought I was the coolest motherfucker around. But I'm just another face in the crowd. I said I'm just another face in the crowd.
Coming to the stage, the gentleman has been featured in an article in Punchline magazine. He's been seen on Last Comic Standing, Comedy Central. He's here, he's funny. Let's welcome Jordan Rock to the stage, y'all. Jordan Rock!
Oh my goodness. Wow, black people in front? What is this, nigga night? No, it's not. I like that you guys are here. Now I gotta be instantly funny. You guys put me to the test. I don't know if you guys know this, but black people don't come out like you guys. Like white folks, you guys make excellent audience members. You guys come out like, you know what? I am here to laugh. Black people come out completely different. It's more like, you know what? Make me laugh, nigga. Well, Chris's stand-up is more, you can tell Chris really like carved his out. Like he comes out and like he'll say like the topic of a joke 3 times before he'll go into the joke. Bow, 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 joke. And always knows, some people don't realize that, but he does that a lot. And it's more political, it's super duper smart. Super duper, like, just well thought out, it hits everywhere. And it really just drives it home. It's really veteran comedy and like, just a masterpiece. Tony's more like a laid back type of dude. Like, he's all about having fun, and you can really tell it when he's on stage that he's just cool. He tries to make it seem like everybody's in the room together. And me, my comedy, I really don't know what mine is. Like, I just try to go out there and be myself, try to, like, I want to be like, hey, what's up on stage? And when I get off stage, I want to be like, hey, what's up off stage? I never want to be the different person. A lot of people get weirded out when that word comes out, but I ride for the N-word. I'm addicted to the N-word. It's like a cigarette to me. I gotta say it when I wake up, after I eat, before I go to sleep, and when things get too messed up in the day, I go outside and have nigga breaks. You guys shouldn't even feel left out, though. You should not feel left out at all. Because black people have nigga, but white folks, you guys have jogging. Jogging, like, honey. I'll elaborate, okay? I'll elaborate. I can say nigga anywhere and not get hit. Watch this. Nigga, nigga, nigga. Them niggas ain't gonna hit me. Don't do nothing to me. But you, this whole front row right there, all you guys can jog anywhere and not get hit.
Hello. We got all the family here today. I mean, it's a mob here.
Okay, all right.
Oh, you just came in shooting me?
Yeah, it's natural.
That's how it works.
I know, but
How you
this is
doing,
just a
miss?
little too natural. You didn't even ask me if my hair done or how pretty I am.
Oh,
Or
you
nothing.
know, you look great.
My image is damaged forever.
Who do we have here?
Matter of fact, this is friends of my husband's from the Daily News. And they came down south to check on me. And this is my only daughter, Andy.
Hi.
Who is, what did I say about Andy? That's Tony's favorite sister.
Everyone's favorite. What favorite sister? I'm the only one.
Oh, you're the only sister. This is Andre. Andre, say hello. Now, Andre is Dre on the show, and he is the second in the
right?
line.
Drew.
Drew or Dre?
Drew.
It's true.
Oh, you know I don't like that show, so I don't know.
You're saying all the same.
How does this family tree work out? Like, where
How's
does?
the family tree? Okay, Chrissy is the oldest, Andre is second, Tony is third, Brian is fourth. Brian's in there too. Kenny is fifth, Andy is sixth, and Jordan is bringing up the rear.
Jordan is the youngest brother that we didn't think could happen. They're like the Osmond family. It's like, I know it's just Marie and a bunch of dudes. I'm just an off cousin. But like, we all grew up on the same block on Decatur between Howard and Saratoga. We all honed our skills, attacking each other verbally, as you should.
The clan of Rocks, the Chris, the Tony, the Sherrod, and now the Jordan. Are there others that I don't know? I guess you can look at it in two ways. Is it a challenge or a gift? Are they expected to live up to their brother or their cousin? I don't know. Is it an entree into the business that probably most of us wouldn't have? Probably.
I didn't even know there was a third brother. I knew about Tony and Chris, obviously, but I didn't know about Jordan. But he's gonna be all right. His last name is Rock. You know, if they're smart like the Wayans, you don't always have to be the most talented one to have a career.
Nepotism in comedy is a whole different thing, because it don't really work like that. Nepotism at like a business, like a hardware store, and your father owns it, and you work there, that's one thing. Comedy's not a store or a thing. So nepotism only might make people look at you, but what keeps them looking at you is what you do. We all follow Chrissy's example. Chrissy is the best example that any comedian can have, let alone us seeing him from the inside out and seeing what it takes to do this business. It's like we try to work like he works. Like he still works like he's in a union, working for the Daily News, trying to make a living. He works like his father worked. And that same work ethic we all try to follow. And we pass it on to Jordan.
Our thing is we're rocks. We don't have to follow anybody. We don't, we're individuals. But it makes me feel like we're accomplishing what we came here to do. Like, I didn't raise my children to be mediocre. And the bottom line is that did not have to be comedy. That does not have to be rich. That does not mean driving a Bentley or whatever, because you see my kids don't even go that way. It's not that I'm proud of him because he does comedy, or I'm proud of Chris because he's Chris Rock. I could care less about that. I'm proud of all of them. They're good people. They are really good people. They are awesome human beings.
I don't know what some of you people were expecting from me, but I am young and immature. Long story short, I fucked to the Soulja Boy CD. And jerk off to Nickelodeon. So when I come, I wipe it up with SpongeBob. It's amazing, I'm young, I really am. I'm 19, that's how old I am. Yeah, people get weirded out all the time. I had this one lady, she was sitting right there, stood up. She was like, really? Really, you are 19? That means you were born in 1991. And I'm like, yeah, I'm walking and talking and everything. It's fucking amazing, alright? Who would have understood? I'm sorry. You guys in college? I didn't go, you know? People, all my friends are in college, so everybody's asking me, like, why aren't you in college? You should have went to school. Why aren't you in college? And I'm like, why? Because I hated free school.
So I got kicked out of Georgetown High School. I see you, Mr. Evans. And I got kicked out, and my mom, she was really upset. And I was really frustrated at the time because I was just getting in trouble, and I made the mistake of saying, forget that. You can send me to New York, and I'll start doing comedy. I'll stay with Kenny. And they said, okay. And the next day, I went to New York, and I was here in December, and I was riding around with my brother on a van, in a moving van, moving furniture. And the day before Christmas Eve, I was sitting on a corner selling sweaters. They were like the bootleg sweaters that aren't the normal size, that like say small, but they're actually a large. And the dude who was doing it, he had a science and everything, and the whole time he's talking, all I'm hearing is blah, 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 blah. I do not want to be here. And I was really thinking, like, I do not want my life to come down to this. And right after that, we're loading up for the day, and we load the truck. We're in the truck riding back to the warehouse, and we're listening to the radio. And what's on the radio but Madison Square Garden, New Year's Eve, Chris Rock. And I'm sitting there with no haircut, bummy, in a moving van. And I'm thinking like, hey, if I play my cards right and I just do comedy, something good's gonna happen. something good. I feel like, I don't know, I just didn't want to be there. So many young comics come up to me and they want to know how to make it, you know. No one asks me, how can I get better? I never get asked that. Especially younger comics, you know, are always looking for shortcuts, but I don't even think they look at it as a shortcut because they're raised on shortcuts, you know. It's like young people today don't pay for music, they don't pay for movies. You know, if you recommend a movie to somebody, they're like, oh great, I'm gonna get the BitTorrent and download it illegally. You know, they don't even say illegally. They're just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna download that for free. And so everyone's used to just getting everything for free.
The only thing I've learned from the podcast is people that succeed and remain successful work their fucking asses off. There's no way around it.
You gotta work for it. If you want to get good at something, you gotta work hard at it. There's no shortcuts in stand-up.
Is it easier or harder for them? That's a good question. I imagine that Jordan's probably like, no, I want to do it the right way, and you know, give me the shit spots and let me come up like I'm supposed to.
The reputation of the comic strip speaks for itself. It's been there 35 years. You've seen everybody coming there. When you walk in there and you see all those people on the wall, everybody had to do the same thing you had to do.
New York comedy's crazy. Like, a lot of people always talk about like not being in the clubs and thinking like, oh, I don't need these clubs to validate myself. But it really does say something if you are in these clubs. That's how I feel. Because all these people came through the same thing that we came through, and now they've made it on top. And I feel like if you're on this wall, you got all the respect. Dave Chappelle with a do-rag on, beautiful ignorance, I love it. Chrissy with an S-curl, 80s, bringing sexy back. I'm ashamed he kind of looks like me. Jim Brewer before and after. Even Tony and Sherrod, side by side. I'm really going for this spot right here. I'm really aiming for location. This motherfucker's gonna complain about being white. I should whoop your ass, man. Motherfucker's gonna, you know, being white, you know, sometimes. I was taking out with this white dude before. He had the nerve to say, we're walking to a corner, right? And cabs slow down. And he's gonna say, these motherfuckers always think I wanna get in. I'm like, are you complaining about being white right now?
I was kind of surprised. I didn't know, you know, at first, I'm like, oh, he's seeing, you know, he's looking at Chrissy, he's looking at the stardom. I'm like, is he gonna do it? And then, you know, like, as time went on, I saw he was really serious. You know, after you see the progression of his comedy, how much he's going up there, the different shows he's doing, different venues, and the reviews he's getting, then I start like, wow, he's really getting into it.
When he first started, I thought it was a fad too. I was like, okay, well, first he's doing comedy, Tom's
Right.
doing comedy. Of course, he wants to be a comedian. But when I came down, I made a trip to South Carolina to visit. And I'm in his room, and I see all of these notebooks. And these notebooks, I'm opening them, and I'm thinking that he's journaling or writing short stories. And it was like stacks of notebooks, cover to cover to cover to cover, nothing but jokes. And when I saw that he was such a prolific writer, that's when I was like, wow, he's taking this seriously. And when I saw how serious he was taking it, that made me take him seriously.
March 29th, 2009. Am I correct? Yes, I am correct, because I was still in high school. And I came down. I was actually at an open mic at New York Comedy Club, and I text Tony, and Tony was like, yo, you in town all weekend? You didn't text Sherrod? Text Sherrod. And he sent me his number. I texted him. He set up my guest spot. I went down to the strip, did about 10 minutes. First time I ever performed for a real audience in New York City. Amazing. I thought it was awesome. Now I look back at the tape, I think I sucked. It's a hard time to be a star. Like, Michael Phelps went down. Michael Phelps, you guys heard about that? They caught him smoking weed and they took him off the Wheaties box. Like, I don't know if they could take him off the Wheaties box all they want, because Captain Crunch is calling him in the morning. Okay, that's the real breakfast of a champion. I got off stage, I was excited, and I came in the office and Richie sat down, and that's the first time I ever spoke with Richie. He told me a few stories about Chris and Tony, and we laughed. And he said, here's the thing I'm gonna tell you. He said, when you get on stage, they already know the name. They hear your name, they already know who you're related to, what your family is. You don't have to fight to make a name. You have to fight to keep a name. And I always think of that when I'm working, when I'm writing a new joke, when I'm coming out and I'm performing. I always try to bring my A game because I know I have a lot to live up to.
Late night is where comedians torture themselves by going up in front of about 4 people that have been sitting there for about 3 hours.
The comic strip has a unique system where you get passed for the club, where you can do regular spots there, and then they have a late night show on weekdays that are specific for up-and-coming comedians who they think have talent. And the way that works is that you come in, you sign up to do late night, and then they just have that go after the regular show.
I gotta get blacker though. I gotta get my streak right up, man. I can tell you right now, I'm a pussy. I maybe had my ass whooped maybe once or 6 times in this lifetime. It's not going down again. It's to the point where I think I need a weapon. I call my friends like, yo man, what type of weapon should I get? And they said, hey, you should get some pepper spray.
Check spot? Well, the check spot is the spot, like, that's usually like the second to the last comic, the last book comic anyway. And most comics don't like the check spot because people ain't paying attention to them. They're getting the bill and looking at their bill going, what?
I'm gonna let you guys know right now. I didn't always want to be a comedian. I used to want to be a rapper. But I found out I was more to rapper than just smoking weed. Yeah, rappers get shot. It's this rapper, his name is Waka Flocka Flame. Waka Flocka Flame.
Check spots are the worst spots because they're like, that's funny. What the fuck is this? Fuck you on stage. What is this shit? Wait a minute, who drank this? Who, no, fuck the jokes. Who drank this?
The checks came out at the end of the spot, but it was all good because that's what I'm living through now. All I do is check spots during the weekend. But it was a good crowd. They start off with a good momentum, but you could see the checks coming in at the end because you could see everybody start putting their head down. It really like breaks up the flow of everything because people start talking. It's nothing personal. They just gotta take care of the bills.
You guys really don't know how to react to this shit, do you? You guys aren't taking me kindly, man. Aren't Jordan Rock fans? Checks came out, this place tried to sabotage me. I gotta blow up, man. I gotta get famous soon. Maybe you guys will laugh then, you know? I wanna be famous, not for like the money or anything. I just wanna make sure that my friends can get some pussy. Yeah, that's what I'm ready to do. Just walk in the room and see some girls and be like, hey, fuck my friend. And she'd just be like, oh my God! That's his friend, do you see him? That's exactly how they're gonna sound, like an exhausted gay dude.
I was 14 when I started. Still hard, you know? Listen, any business where you can make millions and live a lifestyle of that of kings and queens and royalty is never gonna be easy. You know, it's like the lotto, you know, everybody's trying to play to win, you know, only the difference is, you know, on some level, skills are important.
I don't know what some of you people were expecting from me, but I am young and immature.
I like Jordan. Everyone's different, but I think in general to become not just good, but solid as a comedian. And by solid, I mean you can go up there and not just stick to your plan A material, but if the crowd's not good or the situation's not good, the mic's not good, you can still make the show work. And not just a 10-minute show, but like a 45-minute show. I think to do that, to be able to be funny and kill in any situation, and really just have some real strong stage legs and depth to your act, I think a good 8 years or so it takes. I really do.
Like if I started in 92, by like 98, 99, I started to realize why I was funny. You know, the first like 5 to 7 years, people always say, are where you learn how to be funny, but then you start learning why you're funny and you start sort of understanding your voice, you know, in comedy.
We all mature and understand what we're doing at different ages. Some people actually get it, you know? Like some people have timing but no jokes. Some people have jokes but no timing, you know? Everybody has a different path. I've seen some guys blow up in 3 years. I've seen some guys blow up in 15.
I don't think that there is a perfect timetable on when you can say, I've mastered this. Because this business is so, this craft is so evolving. I don't know that you ever can say you're finished. I think it's always a work in progress. I think while you get to a level where you feel like you've earned your black belt, certainly there's still some things that you can learn.
You have 2 years to try to get it off the ground or go to school or get a job or whatever. If you don't tell a kid, like, okay, in 2 years, if he hasn't done it, don't think that I'm going to say, I'm not going to pay your rent and you're in the street. That doesn't work that way. But in 2 years, you have to have some kind of ongoing thing. You have to know what the next step is.
The best way to judge good comedy is seeing a guy at the Cellar or the Strip or, any club in the city and seeing them, within the first couple years of their career, and then seeing them again 3 years later and seeing how they've progressed. He's one of the most genuine up-and-comers I've ever met. He's a guy who's got his head on straight, and he doesn't think he doesn't think like he deserves something just because of his name. He really goes out and works it out every night. Every night of the week he's out, and that's what every young comic should be doing. And most comics don't. He gets it.
The biggest challenge was I was anxious. Being anxious was the biggest challenge. Was calming down was the biggest thing, because I wanted to get hit. I wanted to just go. I thought everything was supposed to just happen. I knew I was going to pay my dues, but I didn't realize what I was in for. And it's a hard time in New York. And it just really taught me to be quiet and tell my jokes. I was up here for a few months. I started getting a few spots, and I was really happy where I was at because I was making money. I wasn't broke. And out of nowhere, I just stopped getting spots. And I really didn't know what was going on. And I was going back to being broke because I got to catch a cab to run to this spot. I got to eat. And I just was broke. And like everywhere I was going, clubs were giving me the runaround. People were doing things that were just so weird. And I was just getting really, really, really frustrated. And I was complaining so much.
Right, is good, man.
And one day, I was just sitting in the back of the Strip. I was watching Sherrod, and he was smashing.
You look angry. This is a comedy show. Do you know that? It's not TV. I can see you. How you doing? Nice to see you. What did they do to you people before I came to this fucking place? Did they beat you? This motherfucker couldn't be angrier. Oh, the fucking bill came. That's why he's angry.
And I was thinking, oh, I'm ready to get on stage. And I was like, look at this, I can get on stage. Like, they're gonna let me do 5 minutes. When I used to sit in the same corner a year ago and die for 5 minutes. Where a year before that, I was driving 2 hours there and back to get on stage for 5 minutes and upset because I didn't have 5 minutes, dreaming for 5 minutes. And here I am in New York City where I can go on like 6 stages every week and do 5 minutes every night, and I'm complaining about it. And that was really a moment where I just shut up and just started writing and telling my jokes. 5 years from now, I hope to be the man in the city. I hope like everybody comes to a club and they look at the lineup and say, oh snap, Jordan's gonna be here tonight. Or when they come in, they see me and they know me from somewhere, and I hope to get on the road, just start up a big fan base, be able to do colleges. Because 5 years from now, I'll be 24, I'll still be in colleges. Just tour the world, tour the country. 10 years, hopefully we'll be doing some acting. Maybe I'll write a few strips, maybe direct some things. I don't know what I'm doing. I really want to, I would love to like write like a show or something. And just maybe like a special, a few CDs. Nothing far-fetched. I don't want to be a famous comedian, I just want to be a good one.
24 hours from greatness, I'm that close. Don't ever forget the moment you began to doubt. Transitioning from fitting in to standing out.
If you want to talk about genetics, you brought it up a few times, but if anything, the Rock family is very savant-like. Very, very savant-like. Because it's not that we're good at everything, and it's not that we can do anything and everything great, but when we find that one thing, I promise it's not going to be anybody that's going to be able to rival you with it.
I'm never going to say never. And the thing is, I see Jordan in 5 years doing all kinds of amazing things, because he is a talent. He's a force to be reckoned with, to be that young. I mean, I've seen him on stage at 16, blowing people away, and they say, and you're how old? And who wrote your stuff? And he says, oh, I wrote that. And they can't believe it.
Well, it's clear that we have a rapist here in Lincoln Park. He's climbing in your windows. He's snatching your people up, trying to rape them. So you need to hide your kids, hide your wife, hide your husband,
Cause they raping everybody out here.
Up on him. He just take them records and he gas up on them. Wayne would probably put $1 million cash up on him.